currently recording.
Good work.
It froze.
Oh.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, it looks like we are currently recording.
Okay.
So, sup audience, people listening to this, you pretty people. Welcome to Game Case.
Please cut that out. God.
I'm not cutting anything out. This is raw and unfiltered.
God damn it.
We'll come up with an opening eventually.
Oh,
and
fuck.
this is going to be a episode of Spitball Design. We haven't done one of these in fucking forever, but I decided it was high time to get back on the horse and do this shit.
Can't leave our 20 viewers waiting.
Yeah. Although it depends on where we upload it. If we do it on Game Case proper, our 0 audience.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the prompt today is pre-made. I've just got a idea that I've been bouncing around for a little while, and I don't have specifics or anything, but we're going to go ahead and just go through and do our thing. So the idea came from a little while ago. I was in a Discord with some of the fellas, and I brought up the idea that what I really wanted to play was like a 4-person or a co-op horror experience. And the way I phrased it was I basically just want to play Alien Isolation, but with another person there, right?
Then
Like,
it's not isolation anymore.
Yeah, it's not isolation. I'm just talking about like gameplay.
You just want to play
wise.
Alien.
Yeah. I just want to play 2 dudes and an alien. Sounds like a bad porno. But, of course, I was met with derision and conflict as everybody's like, no, the second you have anybody there, like, you can't have, like, a horror experience.
Which I agree with.
The thing is, I don't completely agree, but I agree you can't have the exact same experience. So, the prompt today is a 4-player horror game. The idea that you take the Left 4 Dead-esque format, or Payday or whatever, of 4 people trying to do cooperative things, and you make a horror-esque game out of it. Not like specifically, like, basically not a scary game, but like a horror game that's like, gets your adrenaline pumping, gets you like all like sweaty and stressed and stuff like that. That creates basically the same effect as jump scare horror games, but with buddies around.
This is what you're doing. You're saying, how can we take Resident Evil and turn it into Resident Evil 6?
No, not exactly, because Resident Evil 6...
Resident Evil.
The thing is, Resident Evil 6 fucking changed everything that made the first Resident Evil good. There was no scarcity, there's no inventory management. It's almost like, how could we take Resident Evil 6 and make it good? Although, that's an episode for, like, later down the line. That's a feedback.
I don't even think I would want to be a part of. There's no making that game good.
You know what? All right, that's going on the list. That's going to be a respec episode.
All right.
But anyway, so basically, I just have a whole bunch of ideas, and we can like design something from the bottom up. And everyone's telling me whether or not I'm an idiot, or whether or not Derek is right. There is no other options. So let's start with the first point, which it's got to be mood. Like, everything that like tries to be like horror theme forgets the idea for some reason. That shit's supposed to be dark. Like, there was the game that released not too long ago that was Alone in the Dark Illumination, which the whole theme, like titling of the game, is fucking wrong. Like, it's, first off, you're not alone in the dark. There's 3 people with you. So, that's where you're fucking up. Also, you're not alone in the dark. It's called Illumination, and everyone has a fucking flashlight.
That's funny.
Little mini rant there. But, so, the idea is that it's supposed to, like, you theme everything up, and it's dark. And the main way that I was thinking about this is, imagine all the levels that we're designing right now in subways. Like, you never go outside, except extremely rarely. And even then, it's almost like Metro 2033, but, like, even more so. Like, if you ever go up on the surface, it's a bad fucking time. But there are totally the option to go up onto the surface. Like, I think that's an important part of horror, is the option to fuck yourself over. So, like, when you're going through the subway, and if you come across, like, a terminal, you can totally, like, walk up the stairs and go out into the outside world. There's going to be some issue with it. There's going to be, like, something you have to account for, or you only have a limited amount of time, or it can come back to haunt you, or something like that. But just saying no, you are trapped here in the subway, I think is a little less quote-unquote scary than, no, you can totally go outside. There are terrible things that will eat you, but you could do it. Right?
Yeah.
And especially with some other ideas I had for it, like, they're, like, okay, anyway. But one of the main things I think we have to tackle is we got location. That was my idea with subways. What do you think? Like, do you think...
I think subway's good. I think subways are scary, like, especially at night, and I don't think they're used often enough.
Yeah. I was actually thinking that it would be kind of a cool thing to do a little bit of surrealist horror, where it's not just straight up, like, you are in a subway and there are monsters. I think it'd be kind of cool if, like, you're going through a subway and something nondescript is going on, and every now and then you're walking through a subway and you come out of, like, you just walk through a door and suddenly there's, like, an indoor grove or something. It's just like, wow, this is like a pretty forest. What the fuck is this doing underground?
Yeah.
Or, like, you open a door and you're on the moon.
That's weird.
Yeah, surrealist horror. Like,
if they started off the game in, like, a subway train, you could have the beginning be like puzzles to have to get off the subway train.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like, I fucking love that idea.
Especially because the characters could all be separated by cars, so then each character's in a car by themselves. So then you get the isolation aspect that is really important in a lot of horror games. But you are still playing with friends, and you will have to help each other get out of each other's cars, so you can all get out and be together.
Absolutely. Like, that was another thing that I had written down, was separation mechanics. That even if you're playing perfectly, there's absolutely a chance that you're going to get separated from your team. And that's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
So I actually really fucking love it that you start in, like, the subway cars on, like, this, or separate from your team, and you have to, like, solve a puzzle, like, through cooperating to get out of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
So we got location, and we've even got an opening. I fucking love that. He's like, okay, I'm in a subway car. I have a screwdriver. What do you have?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in a maintenance. I'm in, like, the maintenance room, and I have nothing.
Yeah, and that brings in the next thing that I always think would be great in a horror game. Like, if you start with something different every time you play, and the subways have different layouts every time you play, because it can't, like, because a horror game, you play through it once, you know where everything is, it's way less scary. But if the game changes every time you play it, like, randomly generated, it could potentially be way scarier.
I have, on my list later, I actually have it written as RNG horror, nothing can be planned.
Exactly.
So, the thing that I would like is an inventory system, that if you ever get out of a mission, your player has that inventory, and they can bring them into missions. So there's a little bit of, like, the quote-unquote, like, powering up aspect. It's like, I've survived 14 of these scenarios. Don't worry, guys.
That would also give it a lot of playability. It would put it in the vein of, like, Left 4 Dead and Payday, and
here's the thing.
Be playing it.
Here's the thing. Here's the twist on that idea. The thing that makes it scary. All right. When you're dead, you're dead.
And you die at the game, you die in real life.
If you die in the game, you die for real. No. What I mean by if you're dead, you're dead. The character you're playing as and everything they have on them, when you go into a mission with basically either 3 friends or 3 strangers, if you die in the game, 2 things happen. It's permadeath for that character and all that gear you're playing. And, more importantly, your character immediately leaves the game. You're disconnected. There's no, I'm hovering behind your back, I see a ghost of what you're doing and can guide you. No,
Yeah,
you're disconnected.
You can't even talk to them or anything.
Well, like, we gotta imagine, like, Discord is a thing.
Yeah, people would still talk on Discord, but like,
you have a useless lump.
If you're playing with randos and you're using the game's voice chat, then you can't talk to them anymore.
Yeah, and if somebody dies, there's no prompt.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
So somebody might go into another room, and you never see or hear from them again.
And they might have lived and been perfectly fine.
That's what you tell yourself. Because that's the only goal, is survive and get out. And just throwing in as many fucking systems to make that as unassured as possible. So you're not getting nervous because, oh, it's dark and I'm alone, except all my teammates died, so I am dark and alone, which will totally be a thing. But you, like, you don't know if somebody died or just fucked off.
You're always holding out hope that they'll just come out the next doorway you see.
Or, like, you'll meet up with them later or something like that. This leads into
That's so sad.
But wouldn't that be, like, nerve-wracking? Because it'd be, like, proximity chat. So it's like...
Yeah, it would definitely be fun. I could say that.
Yeah. Like, to me, like, that would be part of the thing, is that it'd be really, like, nerve-wracking, because you'd be like, Derek, where'd you go? Derek? You hear a character, like, there'd be, like, no character dialogue. It wouldn't be like your character gets, he goes, oomph, or screams as he's being dragged away. Any dialogue that comes out of the characters has to come out of players.
Would there be friendly fire in this game?
Absolutely.
Alright, because then all I would do in this game is join other people's games, fuck off, they'd be trying to talk to me and I would never say anything, and I would just start banging on things in other rooms, making random
noises.
Yeah.
I think there might be, like...
And then I would eventually just attack them.
I
would just turn myself into a killer in this game.
I was about to say, we could probably work in, like, a morality system or something like that. I was actually really thinking it'd be awesome if you, like, before you go into a match, you can decide whether you're a protagonist or an antagonist. And if you're an antagonist, your goal is that the protagonist doesn't get out alive. If you're a protagonist, your goal is to just get out alive. The thing is, you're not told if somebody else picked protagonist or antagonist when they go in.
I feel like everyone would just choose antagonist, honestly.
We'd work it out. Like, we'd work something out.
You'd have to give something to make the protagonist look more appealing, because it's always, at least in my experience and who I've talked to, it's always super appealing in games to just do the wrong thing, do the thing you can't do in real life.
You know, that's a good question. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to fucking with people. People love to fuck with people.
Yeah. So
in a non-mean, just like funny way.
Maybe for that point, then maybe friendly fire is off because it is supposed to be cooperative. But we can absolutely work in an antagonist system where it's Dark Souls invasions. Let's just think about it like that.
It could be that just randomly some games, and it's not every time,
someone gets picked.
Yeah, somebody just will randomly get picked as an antagonist sometimes. And it'll be like, you're an antagonist, make sure they don't get out alive. And so whenever you go into a game, you don't know if you even have an antagonist.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I was thinking that in my back of my mind, but I'm glad you said it, because abso-fucking-lutely. I love the idea of, like, secret side objectives, but I don't want everyone to have one. I love the idea. It's like, somebody might just be evil.
Just sometimes, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
See,
Oh, dude, and then we can work in a mechanic that the closer the protagonists are to escaping, like the closer they are to the final door, the more of whatever reward you get as an antagonist is.
Oh, so then they want to help till near the end.
Yeah.
It's just so you can make someone betray their team.
It's actively incentivizing betrayal.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea.
And we make it so it's just...
Yeah.
What if the reward for what if the specific reward for like doing really well with the antagonist is a higher chance to spawn as an antagonist?
Like that would, I think that'd be something you'd have to activate and deactivate, because sometimes there would always be that person. Oh my god, I always get to choose being antagonist. I'm tired of it.
Okay, yeah, or like make it so people can opt out if they want.
Yeah, that.
You see, then that becomes part of it. Is like somebody's like, oh, I got picked as antagonist. I'm just gonna fucking say no, but they said yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love that. Limited things you can rely on is another point I have. So, like, a lot of games like to make, oh, this is super stressful because you don't have a lot of ammo or something like that. I'm a little bit of, fuck that. I want to give the players what feels like enough tools to survive, and then just drown them in blood. Like, one of the stressful things is not that you don't have a lot of ammo, it's that you're gonna spend a lot of ammo.
So you want it to be like heavy shooting? So I don't like that.
Well, no, like, I was about to say, so I want to build it like 6 shotgun shells is a lot. But if you're fighting 7 dudes, that last one you're gonna have to fucking stab. If you even have a knife.
Yeah, maybe. I could. I'm not sure. I'm less excited about that than the other things. But
Yeah.
that, to be fair, I don't like Left 4 Dead. I don't like those games.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a horde shooter, I'm thinking. So, like, anytime you see an enemy, you have to make a conscious choice. Are we going to fight this thing to progress, or are we going to try and sneak around?
Yeah, I would like it if there was ways to sneak around these enemies.
Absolutely. But, like, if you get in a fight, I want to build the system in such a way that it kind of knows what the player's resources are, and there always seems to be just slightly too many enemies. If you get
let's just frustrate you a little bit in each encounter.
Exactly. It's like build the director in such a way that's like, I'm not trying to kill these players. I'm trying to make it so they barely survive. So, let's say you have 6 shotgun shells. The director would know, I'm going to send 7 enemies their way. If they hit all of their shots because they're fucking pro MLG, they're still going to have to deal with that last one. And if they panic...
It's a shotgun. I don't think you can give that kind of title to a shotgun user.
But you know what I mean. Like, the AI director takes things into account, like ammo counts, and goes, alright, I'm gonna give you could absolutely take care of this. Except for the last 2 guys. Also, running and hiding need to be a thing. So, I know it's a bit cliche, but like hiding in lockers, crawling through vents, shit like that.
Yeah, no, that all makes sense.
Heavy inspiration from Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
And specifically in the idea that every enemy you see can absolutely kill you.
Well, I mean, that's true in a lot of games, though.
Well, there should not be an enemy in the game that you are not afraid to get in a fight in. Even if you're like, I have a shotgun, I could kill this thing in 1 hit. But it has something on top of that you need to take into account. Like, if I kill it, there's a chance it's going to make a really loud screeching sound when it dies, and all of the bad guys are going to come towards me.
I see. Yeah, I think that's good. You just have diverse enemies that all do different things.
Also,
I think that's fair.
Also, just some invincible. Like, there should just be some enemies that are very obviously, we can't kill that. That thing is, like, Made of floor.
I. Oh, oh shit! This whole monster. This whole subway is a monster.
Oh my god. Genius. You escape by running out of its mouth.
Oh god.
Or getting pooped out. Play your choice. So that brings me to the next question of like, what do you think they are fighting? And I'm gonna go ahead and veto an option right now, not zombies.
Well, I hate zombies, so I'd never vote for that anyway.
Well, it's to me, zombies aren't scary. Like, if I'm in a game where I have to fight zombies, I'm almost immediately not afraid because I understand how zombies work. I think everyone does. Everyone sees a zombie, they understand how a zombie works. That's not scary to me.
Yeah, I don't think zombies are scary to most people in games, especially not now, since they're everywhere.
Yeah. I think
I don't really know what is scary in games because I don't think very many games have scared me.
I think going with like the surrealist horror of it would be a good idea. Like when I said
I think surreal horror is probably the scariest because your mind just can't figure out what it is. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah. So I
much
like
bigger than me.
Yeah. So I like the idea of like when I said the monster is made of floor.
Yeah.
I like the idea that there is literally a monster that just looks like it's amalgamation of a bunch of like different parts of the subway. And that's like the big invincible guy. But like the ones that aren't, I think it'd be really cool if, well, let's just say for shorthand, let's say they're demons. Okay. I think that's a good shorthand for it. But almost like every monster that's designed, we designed to not look like it follows conventions.
Yeah.
And is basically, for lack of a better term, made of shadows. Like, the exact same color palette that we use for shadows in the game, we use for these monsters.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. I like that.
And there's like a weird fog distortion effect around them, so you can't quite see what they are. Yeah, shit like that. And the monster design is going to be important. Like I said, like having just like the normal foot soldier guys, if you don't kill them in a specific way, they let out a screech when they die, and it attracts all the monsters in the immediate area to whatever it screeched at. Just our big brawler enemy that like smashes through walls and will fuck you up in one hit is made of floor and shadow.
Right.
There's a giant ball of hands that doesn't necessarily roll towards you. It kind of pulls itself over with its hands.
That sounds kind of funny.
Like just a giant ball of hands.
Yeah, I think I would laugh at that in the game. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Like, I actually like the idea of there is just fog, like dark fog in itself as an enemy, where it's like there's just a giant fog coming down the hallway. You need to not be in this hallway anymore. That's all this monster does, is you can't kill it, and it basically is just a giant wall of fog that just moves down a hallway, and you just need to not be in this hallway anymore. That's your only defense. Don't be here. I had another idea for a monster where it would be like a little shadow circle on the floor. And this monster would do two things. One, it would feed into the quote-unquote jump scare quota. And B, would feed into the separating the protagonists. So basically, it would just be like a pool of shadow on the floor. But the kicker is, whenever it spawns, it rolls a number between 1 and 4. And that's, whatever it rolls, is the number of players that can see it. And it gets randomly assigned. It's like, okay, so player 1 and 3, if they look at the shadow, they can see it. 2 and 4 cannot. And it spawns anywhere. It just stays to one point. It might be a useless place. It might just be in a fucking closet with loot. It might just be in the middle of the fucking corner. But it might be in a very particular doorway you have to go through. And if you step in it, it basically, over the span of 2 seconds, drags you to hell, and spits you out at a random part of the level, dealing some damage.
Wow. You have no idea where you are now.
You have no idea where you are. You've taken damage, and
You're split from the party.
You're split from the party, and you might be next to something.
Yeah.
And the only way you'll ever like know where they are is if some other player points it out to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's if even they can see it.
I think that's great. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, like there would be just a bunch of shit like that. Also, any jump scare that happens in the game is non-structured. So that feeds into RNG horror, that if there's ever any jump scare, you have no idea where, like, if it even could happen. One of the ones that I was thinking of specifically is that if you have a weapon with a scope in this game, like a hunting rifle or something like that, and you look down the scope, as you're looking through the scope, the game just rolls, and it's like a 1 in a million chance. But if you do, then as you're looking down the scope, it spawns just for you, right in front of you, a leaping monster at you, like super close, and does, a really loud, awful screeching noise, and then whenever you ADS, it's not there anymore.
Yeah. And then it never happens again.
No, it keeps rolling. It's a 1 in a million chance.
It feels like it never happens again.
Yeah.
And you tell everybody about it, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Bullshit.
You fucking liar.
And then you hear someone's like, no, dude, you don't understand. I went into a locker one time, and whenever I closed it, there was just one of the things staring right into the locker while I was there. Like, right through the peepholes right at me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Nice.
Nobody else could see it. I also want to rig it up so that if anything ever takes a screenshot in the game, I want any monsters to not be rendered while it's doing it.
Also, sometimes when you take a screenshot, they'll just add in monsters hiding behind corners that weren't actually there in the screenshot.
It just rolls, and the only screenshot you get is something just saying, I like your picture. It's just like blood text. Absolutely having shit in there that only certain players can see. Like, you walk into a room and it's absolutely covered in blood, like dripping from everywhere. No other player sees it. And
that'd be cool, because like you could be in the same room together for like 10 minutes and nobody talks about it, and somebody's like, man, all this blood is gross, and then the other guy's like, what are you talking about? What blood do you mean?
Yeah. Or they just go, oh man, this is awful, and then somebody else is like, what the fuck are you talking about? But you make it matter gameplay wise. Like,
yeah.
I want to, and I also don't want to put a sanity meter into the game. Like, maybe not like a strict sanity meter, but something that's like, if your character has witnessed enough terrible things, like seeing monsters, being attacked, stuff like that, they start like uncontrollably panicking a little bit, like making like shooting guns harder, like your hands like will wobble because you're fucking scared out of your wits, or like you'll start seeing more shit. like so if you hang out in the blood room for too long, your character just starts slowly going insane. And like, it'll be harder to see shit, it'll be harder to fight shit, stuff like that. So it's like, I don't want to hang out in this room anymore. Why? It's fucking covered in blood, and you like just walk out, and everybody else is like, wow.
You okay, buddy?
Are you okay, man? Like, your character starts breathing harder if they're fully panicking, like they're going, so they can't even hide in like lockers anymore because the monsters just hear them. Also, monsters as fucks. AI needs to be designed in such a way that they are just specifically designed to be fucks.
In what way?
Like you know, like whenever in Alien Isolation or Outlast or something like that, when you're hiding in a locker and the AI like walks right by your locker and then walks back and then walks out, there's that little moment where you're like, oh, they got me. Oh, they got me. Oh, they got me. There needs to totally be built into the AI a recognition, like the way Alien Isolation did it is it had two AIs. An AI who knew exactly where you were, who then would every now and then feed the AI player a clue, right? It would go, oh, maybe you should walk into this room mysteriously, right?
Yeah.
And if we had that double AI system, I'm saying that the second AI should be, okay, yeah, he's in this locker, and it would be bullshit if you just immediately went to him. But instead, what I want you to do is I want you to go to this locker and just stare at it for a second. And then just run the smart animation, or the animation with a smart object, where you get a little bit closer, and then just put your finger up to your lips, and then walk out. Just as much shit like that as possible.
Right.
And then maybe even make it so like the second AI goes, okay, now every monster's gonna know where you are in 30 seconds. Or in like 10 seconds. Or something.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of mini prompts built on mini prompts built on mini prompts.
Yeah, I like it.
If you're dead, you're dead. Stakes and consequences, like when you do shit, it has consequences, like in the level. Like if you're carrying a whole bunch of shit, like because you're looted up to the max, because you're collecting every screwdriver and everything that you can, you make more noise. Like if you're carrying around all the ammo in the world, the AI director is going to know that, and it's going to be like, okay, it looks like you can handle your shit. Mr. Smarty Pants. Or, specifically, like, working into the idea of the antagonist thing, just when a player comes in, it just says, you are marked for death. Wait, what?
What's that mean?
What does that mean?
How am I? Why am I marked? Wait, what's marking me? What's going on?
Yeah, like, using the idea of everyone, quote, understands four-person co-op games against them. Because as far as I'm concerned right now, you are marked for death means nothing.
It's just a dick move.
Absolutely. Like somebody's like, what does marked for death mean? And nobody knows what it means. Because it doesn't mean anything.
Eventually people will just be like, oh, it doesn't do anything.
Probably data mining and stuff like that. So then you know what we do? We put out a patch where it means something. Like even in our patch notes, we just start saying, yeah, we added a nail file so that you'll be able to like escape the prison of elders. And then people are like, wait, what the fuck's a prison of elders? Yo. And like, it's such a dick move, and I don't like this idea, but I want to throw in stuff where it like fucks with your computer. Like, it every now and then takes a secret screenshot and changes your desktop picture to it.
No, I would hate that. I would never be on board with that. Not because it's too scary, but just because that would piss me off.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'd be like, dude, I liked my wallpaper picture. Now I gotta go find it again? I don't remember where I saved that. My files are a mess.
Oh, man. But, yeah, so like, there's an old game on the Nintendo 64, something of Darkness. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, yeah, just throwing that as much into the game as possible. Anything that's considered horror needs to have multiple layers to it, where there's a consequence for killing the thing you're fighting, but there's also a benefit to it. And it's not scary in the other idea, except for you'll probably have scary moments, like, but anything that's like considered your normal scary, like the scary that everyone expects, like jump scares, horror moments, stuff like that, anything that seems like it could be scripted, take all of those ideas, put them off to the side to be completely handled by RNG elements. So basically, oh, this game doesn't have any structured jump scares, which is horrifying because I know it has jump scares, so there's literally no way to know when they're coming.
Yeah. Which is the only way for a jump scare to really be good.
Yeah. and just a meticulously built AI director that is built in such a way, like down to a fucking T. Like it takes like, for lack of a better word, like DPS into account. It's like, okay, these players could very easily kill 14 of these creatures. Let's send 16, and let's see how they do.
God. See, you're using way too big a number.
Yeah, too big a number.
That would make me just be like, I'm never playing this game. That's awful. That's like a horde mode. Fuck that.
Well, every now and then I want to have an obscene amount of creatures coming after the players, or even just like in a room, like they can see them through a one-way mirror, and they have a choice. They can break this one-way mirror, and try to take on all of these monsters, but they're going to make a ruckus, and like they might not be able to take all of them.
I think it's way more scary when you have one thing that can threaten your life versus having 16 things that have a semi-threat to your life.
You see, like, the thing is, I can see where you're coming from, and I agree to a certain extent, but I wouldn't want it to be like Alien Isolation, where the only thing that's really a threat is the alien. I'm not asking
for just one threat. I'm just asking for no small threats.
Well, like
my version of the game would have no small threats. Your version of the game would be doing what you're saying.
Well, it's whenever I say like there's like a bunch of like the little dudes that like you could take out like relatively easy from range. The way that they would be built is that they're not going to walk up to you, slice you once, and that's like a tenth of your health bar. Like if they get in and they attack you, it's gonna fucking hurt. So my thing is, I think you should be scared of anything. Like, if you're fighting spiders, you can go, oh, fuck, there's spiders everywhere. They could do this to me. Like, the idea is to make everything not necessarily hyper-lethal, but detrimental in a way. So, like, if you see 16 of the little dudes, it should still be an issue. It shouldn't be, oh, I have 17 bullets, I'll be fine. It should be, I might not want to fight a bunch of these, because they can fuck you up when they're in a horde.
I just don't find the horde scary in video games. Obviously, in real life, that'd be terrifying, but in video games, I just don't ever find hordes scary.
Well, it's because every game gives you plenty of ammo to deal with a horde, and they give you a horde instead of like giving you like a couple.
I think the horde could be good as long as it was rare.
Yeah. That's not how every encounter is going to work out. Remember, it's going to be like super RNG.
Yeah.
And the horde itself will be scary because you could accidentally summon it if you're not careful. And that would be a hard consequence. There would be like 3 levels of consequence. Little consequence, soft consequence, and hard consequence. At least when we're designing stuff. Little consequence is, okay, you done goofed, but it's not going to end your run. Soft consequences, they can snowball. And they're gonna bleed you for resources. Absolutely. Which would make the next soft consequence a lot less easy to deal with. You want to avoid a hard consequence at any chance you can. And a hard consequence is like when the horde comes into play.
No, that's fair. I can see that.
Okay.
Alright, well, we've been doing that for a while, so I think we should just do the final rundown of all our ideas.
So they're in a subway. We're fighting shadow demons. At the beginning, you're separated, and you don't know who you can trust explicitly. All typical staged horror tropes are like jump scares and horror moments are all RNG.
That's like the biggest draw, in my opinion.
Every enemy is built in layers, specifically for the idea of action and consequence. And then, and they're built around the idea of hurting the player, stopping their progress, or separating them from the team. The monster design is undefined, and some of them you just can't kill. Everything is scarce, as much as you can. Like, even down to the point of, like, I want your flashlight to only last for X long. Shit like that. stakes and consequences. So, like, if you die, you're dead, and all the stuff that was on that character is now dead, and you're basically rolling a new character now. And you're immediately booted from the game because you died.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Well, to end this, what's your favorite feature of this idea?
I'm particularly fond of like the idea of like the monster designs, like specifically the idea that like designing each one around fucking with the player.
Yeah.
Like I really like the idea of the pool monster and the made of floor.
Yeah, I like the made of floor one too. I changed my mind. My actual favorite thing is the random antagonist. That would drive me crazy every round I play.
Right? It's like, all right, which of you?
I'd be like, I don't trust any of you fucks.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Would you rather, like, from a design standpoint, do you think players should be told that there is an antagonist?
No, absolutely not.
Should they be reminded at the beginning of a match that there could possibly be an antagonist?
I think that's great.
Yeah. Like,
hey, just so you know, one of these guys might want you dead. Just maybe, though. They might all just be friends. You know, whatever. It's not a big deal.
yeah, it pops up every time. Do you, so that brings a bigger question to me. Is like, how much of how do you think the meta of this would work? Do you think like anything you find in a level, you just get to keep carrying on, or?
Keep carrying it on until it runs out of use, or until you run out of space, so you have to drop it, or until it breaks.
So I think like a 5 space inventory.
Yeah,
would probably be best.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, dude, you take a leaf out of Condemned's book, and if you do find a gun, you can only carry ammo in an inventory slot as extra ammo. Otherwise, it's just what's in the gun.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like, it's like, do you have enough pockets to carry ammo? Then you have 6 bullets and that's it. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Do all the stuff for the things, you know.
Yeah, no, I like this idea. This is going to be a real thing someday.
Yeah. If you guys want to hire us as design people, call me. Bye. I don't fucking know. I'm bad at editing these things.
Clearly.
Alright, later guys.
End it on clearly. Don't add the link.